Alright, today we're going to be tearing into a 1984 Yamaha Tri Moto 200. We're going to start by pulling the head off, the cylinder, recoil, stator, flywheel, drive assembly here, output shaft, the clutches there, and then go ahead and split the crankcase. So we're going to go ahead and pull the tensioner out, and the reason why we do that first is because there's quite a bit of tension on this tensioner. If we were to just go and remove that the cylinder head there, we could potentially break that or slip or something. So we want to make sure this is loose. And I just pulled that cap off of there, and then you take a 10mm wrench and at least loosen this. I would pull it all the way out because we're going to eventually. And that'll loosen up the cam chain, and there won't be as much pressure on there to pull this cam chain sprocket there. So got a 17mm to remove this sprocket. I kind of put my thumb on it there just to keep it from sliding all over the place. You can just take 2 fingers in and pull that sprocket off of there. I like to kind of set my chain down there. Well, eventually we'll let it fall, but for now we'll keep it held up. We've got a couple Allens down here, and then we've got some 12mm on top here that we'll have to pull before that head comes off. These will all be torqued down before while you're going back together. There are 2 Allens over here on the cam chain side. Alright, we'll go ahead and remove both of those then. We don't have to pull these valve inspection covers, the valve clearance check covers, to remove this head. Some models will have a bolt down in there, but this year and model does not. So these bolts are out. We'll go ahead and loosen the other 2. Got brass washers. You want to make sure you keep track of those going back together. So that should be it for as far as bolts holding this head on. And I find a good spot here. You don't want to pry on any fins that are going to break. You don't want to pry at all. A lot of times you got to do it just to get that out. And then here's your head here. It's in really good condition. We got that cam that will just stay in there. And to pull that, you got 2 10mm right there, and then you'll have to kind of work it out of there with the rockers. So we'll just leave that cam in there for now. Put this back on there to keep it all together. We've got 2 more Allens holding this cylinder on. If you watch on previous videos, you'll see us. We've got to do a video on a car clean on this model. We do a maintenance and a service, adjusting valves on this one. So several different videos you can watch on different things you'll end up doing on these Tri Motos if you have them very long. And this one will be a rebuild video. 2 Allens here. These again will be torqued going back together. This is what you call your head gasket here. Below the cylinder is your base gasket. And the guide here, one of them is able to pull up and out of it now. The other one we'll have to remove once we get the stator off. But there's your cylinder there. Inspect it really good. Make sure there's no grooving, no scoring. Inspect your piston really good. The way you remove this piston, I like to take a small screwdriver or a pick, and I'll go in the circlip spot, there's a groove for you to get something in there, and then I put my finger over top so it doesn't go flying. And then just kind of work that circlip out. And that's the circlip there. Then you can take your other hand there and push the pin out. Sometimes they're a bit of a challenge to get out. You can tap them with a screwdriver or something, but you want to make sure you don't put a lot of pressure on that crank and bind that crank up. Also, you want to make sure you don't damage the pin if you plan on reusing it. To put that circlip back in, just take the open end, kind of shove it down into its groove there, and then this pin's not on this model isn't extremely tight, but take your screwdriver then, a small screwdriver or a pick, and get it in there and kind of just pry it in like that, and it'll snap right into place.